The plane had only been in the air for 20 minutes when chaos erupted. A woman in row 14 suddenly collapsed into the aisle. People screamed. A flight attendant shouted over the commotion, "Is there a tomb guard on board? We need help immediately." Passengers froze. Why a tomb guard? Why not a doctor? In the back of the plane, a young man in a crisp, reserved uniform rose from his seat. His name was Staff Sergeant Daniel Price, a sentinel from the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, known for their unmatched discipline and calm under pressure. Daniel stepped forward, the cabin vibrating with fear. "What happened?" he asked. "She just fell," a man stammered. "She can't breathe." Daniel knelt beside the woman, middle-aged, pale, eyes rolling back. Her pulse was erratic, fading. "Ma'am, stay with me." Passengers watched as the legendary composure of a tomb guard took over. He checked her vitals, signaled the flight attendants, and made quick, decisive movements. It wasn't medical training that guided him. It was something else, something deeper. Within 30 seconds, Daniel figured out the terrifying truth. She wasn't fainting. She was having a reaction, one caused by sabotage. "Call the captain," Daniel ordered. "Tell him this is a security threat." Passengers exchanged confused looks. A security threat? The woman gasped for breath as Daniel lifted her sleeve and found a tiny puncture wound on her arm, fresh, nearly invisible. Someone had injected her with something. And Daniel recognized the pattern instantly, not from military manuals, but from a story told quietly among sentinels. He whispered, "Not again." A flight attendant crouched beside him. "What do you mean, not again? What is this?" Daniel didn't answer immediately. Instead, he stabilized her airway using improvised techniques, then asked, "Who was sitting next to her?" People pointed, but the seat was now empty. A passenger had vanished, and the cabin suddenly felt much smaller. Daniel scanned the faces around him. Fear, confusion, suspicion. The attacker could be anywhere among them. The flight attendant swallowed hard. "So what do we do?" Daniel stood, voice low but firm. "We lock down this cabin. Nobody moves until we find the truth." The captain made an announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, for security reasons, please remain seated." Daniel moved through the cabin, speaking in a calm but commanding tone. "I'm Staff Sergeant Price, U.S. Army. I need your cooperation." He questioned passengers row by row. People described the missing seatmate, a clean-cut man, mid-40s, wearing a military jacket with no name tag. Daniel's stomach twisted. "A fake uniform," he murmured. "Classic misdirection." Halfway up the aisle, an elderly man tapped Daniel's arm. "You're a tomb guard, aren't you?" he whispered. Daniel nodded, surprised. "I served in the honor guard in '68, he said. "I know the look, the discipline." Daniel stared. "Sir, did you see something?" The old man nodded slowly. When the lady collapsed, he slipped into the service galley. Daniel felt adrenaline surge. "Show me." The two men approached the rear galley. It appeared empty, but a panel was slightly ajar. A hiding place. Daniel pushed it open. But the compartment was empty. Instead, inside sat a small metal case. No labels, no numbers. Just a device with a blinking red light. Daniel's blood ran cold. This wasn't an attack. It was a test sent for him. Daniel opened the case carefully. Inside was a syringe identical to what must have been used on the woman, except this one was filled with saline, a decoy. Under it, a note. "If you are reading this, you passed. The organization has been watching you. We need a soldier with your discipline." A recruitment attempt. One Daniel had heard of only in rumors, a shadow group targeting elite military personnel. The elderly veteran behind him peered into the case. "Good God," he said. They approached my unit once. We turned them down, and they vanished. Daniel's pulse raced. They staged a medical emergency on a commercial flight. They endangered innocent lives. Just to see how he would react? He snapped the case shut. We're ending this. Now. Daniel alerted the captain, explaining everything but withholding certain sensitive details. A cabin search began, discreet but thorough. 15 minutes later, a flight attendant pointed to the lavatory. He's been in there almost half an hour. Daniel approached, knocked hard. Sir, you need to come out. Silence. Then, the door opened a crack. A man's voice. You're better than I expected, Sergeant Price. Daniel shoved the door wide open. The man from seat 14B stepped out, hands raised, calm, smiling. You passed the test. You're meant for more than guarding marble. Daniel glared at him. You endangered a civilian. You poisoned a woman. He shook his head. That wasn't poison. A mild paralytic. She'll recover. He smirked. Honor is your weakness, but it's also why we want you. Daniel lunged, and the cabin erupted.